Loft is a way of making a mesh object, but we're going to stretch or extrude a shape along a line to get it. And you'll see what that means here in a second. To do that, I'm going to go to Shapes, Line, and I'll do this in my front viewport this time. What I'm going to do is drag out, and I'm holding down the left mouse button to make a nice curved line. And I'm going to make this line kind of curve around here until I get to the end. Okay? So what I made was this little shell-shaped or snail-shaped line. And then I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to go over here to my top viewport. I'm just going to drag out the circle, and in this video I'm going to move it down here to the beginning of the line just so you can see it. You really don't have to do this step, so once you do it once, you'll get what's happening. But I find it's easier if I place that right at the beginning of the line, and you'll see what's going to happen. Now, I'm going to make a loft. And to make a loft, I'm going to choose the line, and I'm going to go to Modify. Nope, no, I'm not. I'm going to go to Geometry, Compound Objects, and here's Loft. Compound Objects, by the way, is where all the kind of cool stuff in Max is located that didn't have another spot to go in. At least that's how I think of it. It's kind of like the kitchen drawer of 3D Studio Max. I'm going to hit Loft. And now, since I've got a hold of the path, this is going to be the path, I'm going to say Get Shape. And I'm going to click on it. See that little symbol there? That means that our shape can be lofted, or that it's going to work. If you don't see that little symbol, then you probably made an object, which came from this area, not a shape, which would have come from this area. So now I'm going to click on this, and what it will do is loft, or extrude, that shape along my path. Make sense? Okay. Now, a couple things. I'm going to undo all of these little categories here. We're done with this one. Now we can go down here to the skin parameters, and under Shape Steps, you can see that I can make the side segments a higher amount, which isn't really helping me. Or I can also make the path steps a higher amount. Now, a low path step is going to be a jagged shape, and as I ramp this higher and higher, of course I'm getting more segments, which is going to make this more curvy. Okay? Now, there's a couple other things that I can do with my little Well, I'll tell you what, let's do that in the next video, because I think that's enough for this video. So that's a basic loft, although that's a very high poly loft. I'll tell you what, let's end on a relatively low poly loft. There we go. That's a little bit more realistic for a tank. You can make pipes this way, you can make all sorts of things, but give loft a shot. And try lofting different shapes. Remember, shapes are located right, no they're not, they're right here under Create, Shapes, and you can have your choice of most of these objects, or shapes. It needs to be a closed shape. So the shapes that will work are circle, n-gon, text will actually work, rectangle, ellipse, a donut will work, but it won't work great. Star will work really well. Try those different ones and you can make different lofts. Remember, you have to start with a line, or you can start with a shape and loft another shape around it if you would like. So that's loft, and we'll continue on with it in the next tutorial.